Passion. That's what you're in for tonight. Please welcome KellyPilgrim Byrne.
So, on a school night, here we all are, on a Monday night. Now it's 20 past 8, and normally by this time I've laid down with my daughter over here, which much of what this book is about, and we've read stories, and I thought to myself, when she falls asleep, I'm going to get some me time, and I'm going to get up while she's asleep, go and do some reading, maybe write some poetry, and then me time becomes land of not time. And there is no me time, so if I fall asleep, someone prod me, because it is past my bedtime, but we'll get there. So I'm reading from my book, Domestic Archaeology, which is divided into 3 sections. The first section is all about IVF and our struggle to conceive Charlotte, Exhibit A, with the shiny shoes. We tried for 4.5 years on the IVF program, which is a long, long time, and if any of you know anything about IVF, it's quite a hellish ride, but completely and utterly worth it. So the first section of the book is about that journey, and I'll read a few poems from there. The second section came about because when I was researching fertility and infertility, what I found was there were lots of animals that formed families in different ways. And so the second part of the book is largely about that. But I will only read one from that section. And then the end is post-IVF and normal average family life and stuff that we all do. So I'd like to kick off with, and it's not entirely family friendly. There's a few words in there, but never mind. With a poem called Infertility, 4 vignettes. I have wanted to snatch babies, skim their chubby toes across tiled shopping centre floors as I scoop them into my arms and tear away with them to our Mecca, where barren women meet to harvest at harvest time to rub fertility goddesses. These babes would be ours, kept hidden from the ungrateful. Fertility levels are declining, and with my cavernous unused womb, I'm skewing the data. Beneath the soil, under the bottle brush tree, a chicken's egg is buried, drawn on with green paint, symbols from an ancient alphabet, which spell ripe, yet speak of putrid decay. The gurney I lie on is uncomfortably thin. A small Indian woman clasps my ankles, lifts my legs up, out, deposits them into stirrups. She's too slow, a little too slow to cover me up. The doctor's eyes peer through the open space over my white, dimpled belly flesh. Silence. Holding the swab, he sloshes a cold solution over my snatch, then calls, "Ready!" The technician carries my baby in a tube across the room, hands it to the doctor, who in turn feeds it to me. I stare at the ceiling long enough to imagine the birth. And then we'll move into one called Belly Envy, which is a little less heavy. Searching for infertility cures, Google returns a bonus search box. The trick of a tiny belly. You've all seen it. But I want a belly full. A rounded, heaving, stretch-marked globe of a belly. Life teeming underneath a thinning skin. Not a bonus box to store my gurney in, whilst my stomach shrinks to a wrinkled, empty sack. I want to puke every morning and still grow. And whilst I'm at it, I want Google to get rid of Sylvia Plath and her oh-so-barren womb, and I want her madness to stop stealing my show. Now, the thing about fertility and infertility is a little bit like buying new cars and used cars, and when you've decided on what model and make you want, you find that that's all you see in the car parks, on the road, da-da-da-da-da. So when you're going through infertility, all you see is signs of fertility. And geez, it is enough to really drive you crazy. This poem came from that sort of feeling and vibe. And this one's called My Maiden Aunt's Lips. I'm going to build a monument to infertility, where there will be no penises, no breasts. There will definitely be no vaginas. Though there will be lips, and they will be pursed and cinched, and of course, downturned. These lips, they'll not be dusted red, and they will not be plucked. They will be blue. Yes, they will be blue. Wrinkles will circle their perimeter. And these prune bag lips will sit atop a bronze pillar in the city centre, next to some kangaroo. You know, the one with the joey spilling from her pouch. And this one, although it's in the infertility trying to conceive section, is actually post-Charlotte, but it does involve where we used to go. So for 4.5 years we tried. We ended up swapping wombs, so quite handy in this case to have two women, because we wouldn't have had that opportunity otherwise. And when we were trying, in the dead of night, in the early hours of the morning, when we couldn't sleep, and we were racked by our own fears that it would never happen, we used to go to Coogee Beach, and we used to fish, and we never really caught anything, but we used to fish, and this is where Charlotte began her life after one of our inseminations. New Year's Eve 2011. This is our place, where she coalesced, where doubling of chromosomes began, under the full moon whose light bounced off the jetty of the salty waves, slapped the pylons and the occasional frothy splash licked our feet. Where we fished all hours and caught nothing. It wasn't about fishing. It was a time for us to exhale, gather ourselves in the dark and the silence, cast out our failed attempts and reel in hope. And on this particular night, although we didn't know it, she had finally taken our bait. Yes, this is our place. And now 4 years on, we're carving out a circle in the sand with a tunnel inviting the beach water to rush in, lapping little girl who giggles by the shore as the final sun of the year sets below the horizon. You're all so lovely, thank you. I'll confess now that I'm exactly halfway through that I thought I might vomit before standing up here. This is actually only my second attempt at doing this. My first attempt was the launch, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. This one's from the second section, and this is about her first pets. Now, normally Sam tells this story because it's a little bit silly for me to tell it because it's about me and my pig-headishness. But rather than disrupting everything, I'll just tell it. When Charlotte was about 3, she decided that she wanted guinea pigs for Christmas. But she also wanted a Dalmatian dog. We'd got 5 dogs. She didn't need a Dalmatian dog. So we did some research and we found out that guinea pigs come in a variety called Dalmatian, and they're white with black spots. So I thought, you beauty, I'm going to get her some Dalmatian guinea pigs. And so we rang all the guinea pig breeders up, and she seemed happy with that. And they said, yes, we breed Dalmatian guinea pigs, but we haven't got any. Oh my God, I'm not having a Dalmatian dog. So I rang over east and I found a breeder in Melbourne who had Dalmatian guinea pigs. And so I ordered these guinea pigs for a stupid amount of money and flew them over for her Christmas present in 2010. But then we bought a third one because they came before Christmas, so we had to board the Dalmatian guinea pigs at a guinea pig kennel, you know, and which we did. And then we fell in love with a plain little guinea pig. So I said, well, we'll have that one too for $10, thanks. And it turns out now that the very expensive Dalmatian guinea pigs that flew across from Melbourne aren't actually very friendly, don't really like her that much, and the other little $10 one is her best mate. You can't pick it. Sparkle, yes. So this is her first pets. We settled on 3 squeaking cavies. All girls, of course, one for each of us, and apart from the fish, they will be your first real pets. You even ask Santa from a distance for who will sit on a strange man's knee in a teeny voice, "I'm a guinea pig, please," before scuttling between my legs, nervously fidgeting with your fingers. For you, there will be no siblings, because it was hard enough showing our softest parts for you. And so 3 girly pigs will rattle the sleigh bells, making their way to us in the crunch of Perth's summer. Our perfect trinity. Even God's attributes come in 3. Now, Charlotte's donor dad comes from Tasmania, and he's a friend of ours, and when we decided that we would have a family, we had arrangements with him that we would go to Tasmania once a year if we could to catch up with him and his mum and his extended family, which we had done. So when I was researching all this fertility stuff, I came across the Laysan albatross, who are albatross pairs that form female partnerships and have known to do so for up to 19 years. So this poem is about that. We're Laysan albatross people, cooperatively breeding a new generation of squawking individuals. The 3 of us, and you over there in Tasmania, separated only by salty sea, a cinch for our ample wingspan. We'll meet you yearly and tenderly circle the island, the spirited rush of our feathers sweeping crisp Vandemonian air. We mums will fall for the lavender blue mountain tapestries, and while we search for words or the perfect photo to capture them, our daughter will be freed by the whispered histories reserved for those like her with island blood. She will belong, and we will be welcomed beneath the shadow of Mount Wellington's cautious gaze, and at no time will we say goodbye. Instead, we will scatter krill from here to there, so that our fledgling will always be home. And another one from Coogee Beach. I think we spent quite a bit of time there, haven't we? Quite a bit. This is Post. We're now in the Post section, and Charlotte was with us. And this is her. So, memories are our truest heirlooms. Solemn, she says, when asked how it felt to hold him. Found underfoot in the shadows of Coogee, melding to her hand like a slow dancer, rapping, curling, rapping. She asks to set him free to be with his family, and he slides through her fingers, silently parachutes to the seafloor, settles, camouflaged by insipid yellows, starfish. Are you happy to hear a couple more? How are we going?
Yes!
Yes! 5 more minutes, I think.
Great, well, it's only a thing book. Another thing we do is we go camping quite a bit. And this is a little piece about the last camping trip. Camping in the eye of the storm. That snap freeze moment between starry, soundless night and frantic, urgent birdsong, where colours alight skyward, a shimmering canvas, their cautionary ode bounces from tree to tree. And, like a crisp morning sun shower, unseen giants drop life to the forest floor. Is anyone familiar with geocaching? Or are we the only weirdos?
No one is.
You know what it is? So, for those that don't, geocaching is all kinds of fun, and you should probably get out there and try it at some time. So, you download an app onto your phone for geocaching, and it gives you coordinates of where hidden treasure is, all over the world. It's everywhere, there are millions of them. And you have to follow clues, and you go and find them, and they're little boxes and they're little things, and it's awesome. So this is about one of our geocaching trips. My fingertips prickle with anticipation. And as I watch you skip lively through the natives, the same spiky bushes drag low on my calves, drawing as they do a makeshift map of our intentions. The iPhone steers us with the flash of a blue dot. 15, 10, 5, 2 metres. Here be dragons. Or, at least, here be a fallen tree log. Hollow and hiding a nest of pine needles. Placed carefully by the previous treasure hunter to conceal a camouflaged plastic clip-lock container. A modern pirate chest for contemporary booty. Tiny plastic cars, lucky Chinese coins, animal balloons. I wonder what you think we're doing here in the bush. Those cries of, I know it's here somewhere, springing from trunk to trunk.
I did it today.
Sometimes we're voiceless, and only the birds are certain in their twittering that what we're learning to find is peace. So that's the last one I'd like to read from the book. But Charlotte has been asking me to write a poem about something that happened to me when I was a little girl. And it's a story that she constantly tells anyone who will listen, only she does so less poetically. So I thought I'd clean it up a bit and maybe tell it. So she asked me this morning before we left for work, Mummy, please will you write a poem about that story and will you do it tonight? So I have written it today. It is a first draft, so I apologise for any roughness. Running to Albany. I remember the searing pain, first utter relief, a gentle tickle of grass, then, oh my Lord, the burn. I think I was 6. My grandparents and a road trip. Windy Albany, the final destination, but a quick stop on the way to pee in the great Australian bush. Deeply offended the scurry of soldier ants, and one in particular leapt from the soil and latched on like a pig dog with lockjaw. If I push aside my embarrassment for long enough, I discover something about myself. That my daughter told this story at Hindi and the teacher turned pink fills me with something resembling pride.
you know, universal experiences that parents, lovers, human beings share. Thank you so much, Kelly. Please show your attention.